Jimmy, the other place to find the most likely to list.
Yeah.
It's funny. People want come list me calls. Mm-hmm. People want appointments. They don't want leads. People want layups. They don't want free throws. Or they want free throws. They don't want to shoot threes. Like, people want low hanging fruit. And quite frankly, Jimmy, the lowest hanging fruit to get listings would be the tree they already grow on. Mm-hmm. And where most of our clients and most of this industry gets their listings is from the people they already worked with. So how can I use my past clients in a way to find a motivated seller?
Yeah, there's a book that came out a couple of years ago called Brain Rules. Mm-hmm. And it talks about this concept about the sort of the power of a question. And what a question does, Chris, is it sort of freezes the consumer in that moment to think and pay attention to what you're asking. And a lot of times what happens when people send email campaigns out, they actually don't ask a direct question. It's one of the things that you were showing earlier with your 9-word email or how to resurrect dead leads. Like, a question forces a consumer to stop and think. And that's the most valuable asset we have as marketers, is sort of capturing their attention. So the email that I have for you right now, we're accomplishing a couple things here. The first thing is we're asking a simple, straightforward question in the subject line. What's your plan? And then we basically say, hey, at this point, it's a time of the year where all of my clients, again, I'm using that sort of social proof herd mentality language, all of my clients are planning out their real estate goals. So if I'm not planning out my real estate goals, I feel like I'm left behind. And then I said, which situation best describes your situation? And then I give them a couple options. So I think this gives the consumer an out. So if you send, do you need to sell your home? You might send that to a cold lead. It might not be the tone you would use with maybe your past client because you have a better relationship. This is sort of that softer version of that. So we say, number 1, I have no plans. Number 2, I'm curious how much my home is worth. Number 3, I'm planning on making home improvements. Number 4, I'm considering buying an investment property. Let me know ASAP so I can provide some really useful information. I'm looking forward to hearing your response.
I love it.
And quite simply, Chris, I think there's magic in simply asking questions that are easy to answer. Direct.
Well, let me give you an example of one that we did back in the day. Because we used to do an email that said, hey, what makes your home better than the other homes in your neighborhood? And a lot of people would reply to that, and they'd send a couple paragraphs. Everybody thinks their home's the best, right? But we changed it, and we said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the current condition of your home? And the reply rate tripled, because it's really easy to reply with a 10. What I could see people doing here, Jimmy, is saying 1 and 4, 2 and 3, just 4. So by removing the friction in which they need to reply, they reply more. But here was the beauty of the tactic. They still tell you the rest. You don't even have to ask for it. So they would say 10, here's why. Or if you do this one, they're going to say 4. Here's what we're thinking, right? So by all you're asking for is a simple number. But what you get is the number and the other stuff that you wouldn't have gotten if you would have made the first question too complicated.